What is good? I am Jess.
I'm Clint.
And we are Alien Fitness. And today we are going to be talking about how to become more intentional in your everyday life and with your goals. So you're either floating through life, kind of putting in minimal effort, not really doing as much as you could, or you can be intentional, which means you're taking like aligned intentional actions towards your life and your goals. So you are probably the most intentional person I know. So when I say be intentional, what does that mean to you? What do you think? What does that mean?
What's being intentional? I think being intentional looks like setting goals, whether they're big or small, and following through with those goals for the right reasons. When people talk about setting goals and being intentional, I think people kind of get caught up in this idea of, like, my goal needs to be that I need to be in the NBA or that I need to make $1 million. Not all of your goals have to be these large things. Your goals can be broken down into smaller tasks. But as you complete and follow through with those smaller tasks, you show and improve to yourself. You build up this confidence in yourself that, yes, I can do these things because I've taken the little steps. Now it's time for me to take a big step. If you haven't taken those little steps, that big step, you're going to be paralyzed when you come to it. So I think being intentional is just, it's something that you have to have in your everyday life. You can't just say, I have this one goal, and then everything else in your life, you flounder. You don't follow through with the simplest tasks on a daily basis. Those habits are going to follow you into your bigger goals, and you're not going to be successful.
Yes, absolutely. I love that you said flounder. That's probably the word I should have used earlier, but that's okay. So we're going to get into 10 simple ways that you can become more intentional in life across the board, not just your fitness, but literally everything that you do. So number one, obviously this goes without saying, but know exactly what you want. It starts with focusing your thoughts and your emotions on what is important to you. Nothing to add to that?
No.
Okay. So number two, think about why you're doing this. Your why is so important on so many levels, and just not for, your fitness goals. Actually, we're not going to say just fitness. It's going to be life and across the board. So we're going to talk about life right now, or for this episode. So you need something that drives you, that motivates you, that's going to get you up and out of bed, especially when you don't want to. You need something that is going to drive you.
Yeah. Number one and number two are tied together. Like, you have to know where you're going, and you have to know why you're going there. Otherwise, you're never going to get there.
Number three, anything that isn't aligned with what matters to you needs to change. So this is, coming down to being bold and brave enough to let go of what doesn't serve you, setting those boundaries, having hard conversations, taking a real look at what is holding you back and making those small adjustments or huge adjustments if necessary.
Yeah, you gotta be willing to lose friends, lose family members, lose partners sometimes. It's just a fact of life. If your only goal in life is to keep the same friends you kept in high school, then sure, go for it. But if you want to achieve greater things, you're gonna have to shift and change those circles, right? Like, if the best way to keep yourself motivated is to surround yourself by like-minded people. So if you're trying to do something new in your life, you're going to have to find a new circle of like-minded people. And unfortunately, you're not going to have enough time for them and for everybody else. So, that's just talking friends, but, when you're talking about splitting up your day, I love to help people. I always like to say yes, but I can't always help everybody because that's going to take away from my time to put towards my goals. So you have to be able to create those boundaries, like Jess said, but also look at the greater scope of your life and your circle and see what isn't helping you, what is being an anchor, what is slowing you down, and what is going to help you propel further towards your dream.
Yes, absolutely. That's all I got. So number 4, visualize your achievements. So you have to know that you're capable, and I think visualizing it is important because you can take a second to reflect and think about how good it's going to feel to accomplish that goal, and let that joy, that pride, that that dopamine, just let that drive you into what you need to do. Let it motivate you.
Yeah, and I think it also, aside from the motivation, the drive that visualization gives you, I think it also takes away some of the anxiety. I think a lot of people get anxious when they have, when they set these goals. Then all of a sudden, your inner critic is telling you, what if I get up on stage and I do this, or what if I make $1 million and I turn into this person, or I look like this. Visualizing what you want that end product to look like takes away some of that guesswork, takes away some of that mental cloudiness of, should I actually take this step forward and follow through and see what the end goal is actually like. Like Jess always gets upset because I don't get excited about anything.
No, nothing ever.
And the main reason is because I'm a big planner. So I plan things in my head, I write things down, I draw things out, I take notes, and I visualize things. So when something's happened, it's already happened twice in my head. So in reality, it's, I've told myself, look, like you can do this. I have the confidence that I can do this. I've followed through and I did it. So when it actually happens, yeah, sure, I feel satisfied, but it's not this shock and awe, like, yeah, no, I said I was going to do it. I believed I was going to do it, and I did it. That's not being cocky. That's not being...
No, that's not at all being cocky.
That's not being,
It's not
arrogant. That's you taking these steps that we're outlining. Setting your goal, visualizing it, following through with it, and the more you do that, the more you build up that confidence, and the more you'll have that feeling.
Yeah, 100%. It's... Belief in oneself is not arrogance.
No.
It is absolutely not. It can, blossom into that for sure. But you have to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Okay, so number 5, prioritize things that make you happy and feel good. So if you're trying to be intentional and you're out here doing something that you don't like or that doesn't make you feel good, you're straight up not going to do it. You're not going to be intentional. You're not even going to put in like minimal effort. You're going to put in no effort, because if you're just not going to do it. If you don't want to do something and you don't enjoy it, it's not going to get done.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
I think one of the best analogies, I was listening to a podcast and the doctor was saying, people are asking like, what's the best workout split? People always ask, what's your workout routine? What's the best thing? And the answer was simple, and I loved it. It's a workout split not done is an ineffective workout split. So it doesn't matter. What matters the most is, are you actually going to do it? Are you going to follow through with all the exercises? Do you have enough time in your day to do this? Because if you look at the routine and it takes 2 hours and you only have 45 minutes, chances are you're just going to skip that workout.
Yup.
And then you've accomplished nothing. So same thing, like it transfers to everything. You need to figure out ways to make something enjoyable, to make sure that you feel good, so that it's sustainable, so that you can keep doing it. Same things goes with your nutrition intake. Make vegetables fun if you don't like vegetables.
Butter.
Make your protein fun if you have a hard time getting your protein in. You gotta get creative, and you gotta be, like it's just that, like if you're intentional with your goals, then you need to be intentional with your prep, and your follow through, so that it's enjoyable.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Number 6, practice self-reflection. So you need to know what you excel at. You need to know what you struggle with. Every Sunday, I reflect. I get my girls in my group. We do check-ins to, do a little self-audit, because you need to know what's going on, or else how are you supposed to improve? How are you supposed to build off of anything? You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. If you're going towards something, everything needs to be tracked, and it doesn't need to be this huge, extravagant production of tracking your progress in your life, or your nutrition, or your diet, or whatever it may be. But historical data is key and important. If you don't know what you did, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're going to do. There's no two ways about it. It's just you're just throwing coin up in the air and hoping that you're going to land in success. If you keep getting into bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, and you've never taken a step to stop and reflect on what's happened in the past and what's led to these relationships being bad, you're going to get into another bad relationship, right? Like it's just logic, and that goes with anything else. You need to be able to self-criticize in a healthy way. You need to be able to gather historical data of your actions and be truthful to yourself.
Yes.
Especially with Jess and I training people, don't lie to me and tell me that you lost 2 pounds when really you gained 3 because you didn't follow your diet. That's not helping me, and it's not helping you. All that is trying to mask some of your shame or whatever it may be. That doesn't help. So you need to be honest with yourself. If you did overeat, then look and find out why you overate, instead of trying to mask it or trying to pretend it didn't happen. If you didn't score an A on that test, reflect on why you didn't score an A on that test, and focus on that. It's easy to get down in the moment of failure and not want to think about it, but it's key and important. There's a learning opportunity in everything, and if you don't learn something from everything, then that's your fault, because there was a lesson there somewhere and you chose not to learn it.
All right, number 7, use your time wisely. So you're either busy being busy, or you are busy being productive. There's a huge difference. You can run around like a chicken with its head cut off, or you can structure your day with your to-do list, your goal setting. You know what you need to do and you can execute properly, but you need to know what you're doing, and you need to use your time wisely, because I don't have time, that excuse is dead and gone. It's nothing more than an excuse. So
Yeah, anything I say is just going to take away from that. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. It's just that plain and simple. If you want to do something, you'll make the time for it.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. All right, number 8, which kind of ties into this, but routines. Huge. Morning routine, night routine. You need structure, especially the busier you get. You need to get good at doing this.
Yeah, having a structured routine in your life can mean everything. It offers
everything.
so many different positives to your life. Jess knows where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing, pretty much 24 hours a day. And that's not because she's invasive. That's not because she's, whatever. That's because I have a structured life. And what that allows me to do is to not think about what I need to do next in certain situations. It's already either already set up or pre-planned or prepped. So then I can move on to the next thing. So then I can use that brain capacity on other things. I can use that to be creative. I can use that to problem solve when I'm at work. I can put that towards my workout at the gym. But if you're spending all day thinking about, I gotta do this, I forgot this, I didn't do this, that is draining. It's mentally draining. And then when it comes time to do something that you actually enjoy, you're not gonna have the mental capacity to do that, or you're going to enjoy it, but not to its fullest extent because you're gonna be thinking about other things. So help yourself. Take out a lot of the guesswork in your day, and it'll make your days, your months, your weeks run smoother. You see people and like one bad thing happens and that's like totally ruined their day. I would say 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. The case is you woke up late, you couldn't find your toothbrush, your car keys were missing because you didn't put them back where they were supposed to be, you had to rush to make your breakfast because your breakfast wasn't prepped. So your whole morning was shot, and then somebody cut you off on your way to work. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. When in reality, you could have avoided all of that morning stuff that made your day bad by being intentional, by having a routine, putting things back where they belong, prepping things ahead of time, taking out that guesswork. So then when that person cuts you off, you're like, whatever, like, so what? But if you're living this life of chaos and stress constantly, then yeah, little things are going to set you off and you're not going to get your goals. Routines matter. It also helps setting boundaries for other people. My phone, other than telemarketers, my phone does not ring during my gym time. Because anybody that's going to call me knows not to call me at 3 p.m. My boss at work will not call me at 3 p.m. for an emergency. Because they know how important that boundary is to me. And it forces them to respect it. But if you're all over the place, how can you expect other people to help you, right?
Yeah, so actually we're going to go to number 10 because that's basically what you're talking about right now. And that is speak up and stand up for yourself. Like he said, that boundary he has, people honor it because he's so strict with it and he has stood up for himself and he's able to say, hey, this is what I'm doing and I need you to respect that. And you're also going to have people in your life, unfortunately, that don't necessarily believe in you, believe in your goals, are going to tell you that, you know, you're wrong for chasing them or you've got your head in the clouds or whatever it may be. But you need to be strong enough to be able to speak up and say, hey, I believe in myself, so that's all that matters. Stand up for yourself. Always, always, always stand up for yourself.
You have to. People are always going to test those limits. They're always going to test those boundaries. And like I said, like with me saying, you know, my gym time and, you know, people respect it. It hasn't, and it still isn't always like that. You know, an extreme example is, I think it was like last Christmas or the Christmas before, you know, we do this thing where we travel back and forth between Calgary and Ontario to spend Christmas with the families. So that particular year, it was our year to be here. And my family was having a dinner for Christmas and we didn't go. I told them I wasn't going. I had to train. I was on prep. And I was tired. So I said no. So, you know, my dad called me and he's like, well, you know, that doesn't make sense. Like, why couldn't you just show up for a little bit? And I explained to him, like, look, this is why I had to do this, and this. And, you know, he's like, well, I don't get it. I was like, well, that's okay. You don't have to get it. You don't have to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. You don't have to understand what I'm doing. But you're going to respect it. And you leave it at that. You can't make somebody understand if somebody doesn't want to understand. You can't make somebody be okay with something because you want them to be okay with it. that's the reality of it. So sometimes you're gonna have to swallow that pill, have that hard conversation, and be okay with somebody not being okay with what you're doing.
Yeah, that's important, and remember that. Key takeaway on that. So last one is practice affirmations, gratitude, and kindness. Mr. Attitude is gratitude. So you can take that one if you want.
That's the motto. If you go to my IG, it says it right there. The attitude is gratitude. That's it. I'll leave it at that.
Yes, and affirmations. I'm huge on affirmations. Being able to affirm to yourself that you can actually do it and that you are worthy and you are capable of all of the success is so important. And kindness, acting from kindness is, again, important. All of this stuff is so important, but acting from kindness and coming from kindness and compassion, it's key.
I think that sums it up. I think, whenever somebody asks me if they want to compete or if they want to start dieting, whatever it is, like we went through the list, figure out what it is you want. Figure out where you want to be. You want to be on stage on March 10th. You want to lose 10 pounds. You want to be happier in your relationship. You want to get that job. You want to graduate from school. You have to have that end mark that has to be set in stone for you. That has to be something that's unmovable. It has to be unshakable, because things are going to be thrown at you. People are going to test you. People are going to try and tell you, no, don't bother with that. That's pointless. You have to know where it is you're going and know your why.
Yes, absolutely. So that is how you can become more intentional in your life. You will get better results out of whatever it is that you're trying to do when you become more intentional. So do it, act on it, figure out where you can improve, figure out what you've already mastered and how you can add on to that. But please take something from this and run with it. Implement. Success like speed, okay? So get to it. That is it. That is all. Thank you for joining, and you can say that again.
Be more than human.
Cut them off, but that is okay. Thank you. Mwah.